You're watching this video right now because someone somewhere decided you could. Not your internet provider, not Google, not even your government. I'm talking about a handful of corporations you've probably never heard of. Companies that literally own the physical infrastructure carrying every byte of data between continents. And right now, they're fighting a war that will determine who controls the next 50 years of human communication. In 2019, a Chinese company called Huawei was on the verge of building the nervous system of the entire planet. They'd already installed equipment in over 170 countries. Their 5G technology was cheaper, faster, and more advanced than anything Western companies could produce. Then, on a freezing December morning in Vancouver, Canadian authorities arrested Huawei's CFO, the daughter of the company's founder, at the request of the United States. Within months, country after country began tearing out Huawei equipment that had already been installed. Australia ripped out infrastructure worth billions. The UK reversed course completely. Even tiny nations caught between superpowers had to choose sides. But here's what nobody tells you. This wasn't really about security or espionage or protecting democracy. This was about pipes. Literal, physical pipes lying at the bottom of the ocean. 99% of all international data travels through undersea cables, not satellites, not wireless networks floating in the stratosphere. Cables, thick as garden hoses, stretched across ocean floors for thousands of miles, carrying the entire internet on pulses of light. There are about 530 of these cables crisscrossing the globe right now, and if you cut just a handful of them, entire continents go dark. In 2008, when ships accidentally severed two cables in the Mediterranean, 70 million people across the Middle East and India lost internet access. Just two cables. Now here's where it gets interesting. These cables aren't owned by governments. They're owned by consortiums, shadowy partnerships between telecommunications giants, investment firms, and increasingly big tech companies. Google alone has invested in 26 undersea cable systems. Meta, owns parts of the longest undersea cable ever built, stretching 23,000 miles around Africa. Amazon is quietly building its own network. These companies aren't just using the internet anymore. They're becoming the internet. And China saw this coming years before anyone else did. While America was distracted with the war on terror, China launched something called the Digital Silk Road. It sounds boring, like some economic development project nobody cares about, but what it actually means is that China has been financing and building the telecommunications infrastructure for dozens of developing nations. Pakistan's entire 4G network, built by Huawei, large chunks of Africa's internet infrastructure, financed by Chinese policy banks and constructed by Chinese firms. Brazil, Argentina, Thailand, Indonesia, Chinese equipment is everywhere, baked into the foundations of how these countries communicate. Here's the thing that keeps American intelligence officials awake at night. If you control the physical infrastructure, you control everything flowing through it. Every video call, every banking transaction, every military communication, all of it passes through equipment manufactured by someone. And buried deep in the code running on that equipment are capabilities that make hacking look primitive by comparison. We're talking about the ability to monitor, throttle, redirect, or completely shut down data flows without anyone noticing until it's too late. This is why the 5G race wasn't just about faster smartphones. Fifth-generation networks are fundamentally different from everything that came before. With 5G and the coming 6G, we're connecting everything to the internet. Power grids, water systems, autonomous vehicles, medical devices, weapons systems. Imagine a future where enemy nations could simply switch off your electricity or reprogram your self-driving cars during a conflict. Whoever builds the pipes for 6G won't just control communications. They'll control the infrastructure of modern civilization itself. If you're starting to realize this is bigger than you thought, hit that like button and subscribe, because this rabbit hole goes even deeper. The European Union thought they were being clever. They'd avoid picking sides by building their own 5G infrastructure with their own companies. Nokia and Ericsson. But here's the problem. They're already behind. While Europe was debating privacy regulations and arguing about subsidies, China was deploying. By 2023, China had installed over 3 million 5G base stations, more than the rest of the world combined. They weren't planning for the future. They were building it, city by city, country by country. And then something unexpected happened. India, squeezed between Chinese expansion and American pressure, decided to do something almost no one thought possible. They started developing their own 5G technology from scratch. A country that most people still think of as a call center hub is now trying to become the third pole in the global telecommunications war. They're partnering with Japan, they're courting European firms, and they're quietly telling smaller nations, you don't have to choose between China and America. There's another way. Meanwhile, American companies finally woke up. But they woke up late, and they woke up panicking. The US doesn't have a national champion in 5G equipment manufacturing. They have to rely on Nokia and Ericsson, European companies that are struggling financially. So the Pentagon started something called Open RAN, a system where 5G networks use standardized interchangeable parts instead of proprietary equipment from single manufacturers. In theory, this prevents any one company or country from dominating. In practice, it's years away from being deployable at scale, and China is already working on 6G. Because here's the really terrifying part. 6G is expected to be 100 times faster than 5G. It will enable real-time holographic communication, instant global data transfer, and AI systems so advanced they'll make today's technology look like telegraph machines. China has already launched 6G test satellites. They've filed more 6G patents than America and Europe combined. They're not competing in the next race. They're trying to finish before anyone else starts. So who actually controls the pipes of the internet? The honest answer is, it's being decided right now. Every submarine cable route that gets approved, every 5G contract that gets signed, every company that gets banned or subsidized, these are battles in a war most people don't even know is happening. This isn't like previous technology races where second place still meant you had the technology eventually. In this race, whoever builds the infrastructure first gets to write the rules. They decide what's secure and what's vulnerable. They decide which countries get connected and which stay in the digital dark ages. They decide what information flows freely and what gets quietly monitored or blocked. The pipes aren't just carrying our data. They're determining our future, and the people laying those pipes are betting that you won't pay attention until it's already too late to do anything about it. 3 countries are currently in the lead, dozens more are trying to catch up, and billions of people are about to hand over control of everything they do online to whoever finishes first. The scary part? Most of them have no idea it's even happening.